how are we going to cope with the Trump pandemic that we're going through right now?
I was wondering if we're getting any sort of funding towards public education in the near future.
How will those universities pick up the shortfall, and will my son's uni fees increase?
Our taxes are going towards the funding of weaponry, aiding the onslaught on the innocent people of Gaza. What are you doing to stop this Prime Minister and opposition leader?
What are you going to do for semi-rural sort of areas like Tamil?
Do we want to increase Medicare funding so we won't have to pay extra gap fee?
What will you do to ensure migration discussions remain respectful and avoid demonising migrants?
Now, of course, all of this happens with just 25 days to go until the federal election. More importantly, just 14 days until the first votes will be cast. Yes, Tuesday will be the first opportunity in a couple of weeks' time after all of the Easter public holidays. That will be when the early voting starts. Now, all predictions are that more than half of the country, or about half of the country, could end up voting early, which is why a debate in the early parts of the campaign matters. It's why the campaign launches, the official presentations of both the current government and the alternative are potentially going to matter, and those all happen this Sunday. Very different than a normal campaign where such events end up happening in the final Sunday, where there's just 6 days before an election. But with so many people voting early, with the school holidays, depending on what state and whether you're public or private, which are starting up as we speak, let alone in places like New South Wales, where I believe it's next week, where it goes right across the Easter period. And then, of course, we have the Anzac Day commemorations on the 25th of April. So, 100 people in the room, undecided. Now, this room was not chosen by Sky News, not chosen by the Daily Telegraph, but chosen by a research firm, and people who self-identified as undecided voters were the people who were in the room. Now, first couple of questions, it seemed fairly obvious that it was relatively safe ground for the Prime Minister. Things started to even up, and Peter Dutton started to warm up. He started to have his best moments, and in a moment or two's time, after the result, I'll be able to tell you some of my takes, and then rejoined by Andrew Clennell, who says best performance he's ever seen when it comes to Peter Dutton, and my mate Laura Jays. I'll also tell you how the rest of the media was watching along, what they believe were the key moments. It won't surprise you that, like all debates, like all people's tests and all people's forums, it ends up being a Rorschach test. But for those who are undecided, well, that is why we have a result right now. Kieran Gilbert joins us. He did an excellent job moderating. Congratulations, mate. Good on you for the follow-ups. I love a moment when they get to ask a question of each other. Beautifully done, my friend. Some of the best, and this thing's been around for a long time. All right, no more mucking around. It took us a while, but we've got 100 votes. What are 100 responses?
Yeah, so it's pretty close, Paul, I've got to say. 44 to Albanese, 35 to Peter Dutton, and 21 undecided. So 44, 35, 21 undecided. I think that reflects, you know, where the polling is to, it's close to it. I mean, that 21's still soft. It reaffirms what we're hearing from the party headquarters, that there's still a big soft vote. And I agree that was a strong performance from Peter Dutton, particularly in the context of what's been a tough week, let's be honest. I mean, he had to shelve one of his key policies and then show up and put in an effort like that. There wasn't a knockout blow, but that number still says to me 21% undecided as they left the room tonight. And if that's indicative of Western Sydney more broadly, it's game on. It is game on. I'll tell you one thing, Paul, that I agreed with Peter Dutton on. Standing there when the hands were going up on people that are doing it tough, that was sobering. That was very sobering to be there and to look back at the audience and to see the number. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough time, and that just reaffirmed, certainly to the leaders, and to me, I found it quite jarring as well.